So who thought we would come back here? Because
HyperDimension Neptunia Rebirth 2.
welcome to that. This is HyperDimension Neptunia Rebirth 2, Sisters Generation. We played the first game, surprisingly enjoyed it for what it is. Let's dive into the second one. This, from what I've heard, is actually a very different outlook of a game. And everything that I've done in my playtestings is a very different outlook of a game. We're not in the the same world as we were before. No, the Neptunia series is sort of split between dimensions, you could say, and how it's described. In HyperDimension Neptunia Rebirth 1, we were in the super dimension. That's its own world, that's its own area. For Rebirth 2, we are entering the hyper dimension. There's a lot of differences between the two. For one, we have, as you can see on our title screen, the CPU candidates. We never saw them in the main game of HyperDimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 because they didn't exist. At least not until the very end, which they are actually extra content. In this, they take a full frontal... That's bad wording. The full front of the stage. The CPUs? Well, we'll see that very soon. As before, this is a very loud game, so I've turned the background music down immensely. Hopefully the balance is a little bit better than what it was before, because I found myself that I was shouting a lot in that game. But hopefully this time it's a bit better. Anyways, all of my settings should be correct. There is DLC, same as this. I am playing it on the Steam version. I have turned pretty much everything off, except, well, these ones are more recent ones which I haven't bought. But I could do if I wanted to, but no. I haven't, same as last time, I'm not taking the extra items at the very start. I don't think I'll need them. Additional Contact Pack 1, these are giving me a few plans and an extra dungeon. Everything there needs to be created, so I'm fine with that. The only thing extra is the key fragment. The key fragment I will not be using because it's a little bit powerful. I'll show it when we get in there. Level cap has been increased by 300. I'm not expecting to go over 100 in this particular playthrough. Maybe if I continue on afterwards, but no. So that doesn't matter. Colosseum battles, probably do the same as last time and not really do them. I'm more focused on the game itself and the story. Content Pack 2, more plans, another dungeon, more level cap, more Colosseum battles. Same with the Content Pack 3. So those I'm fine with leaving on because I doubt they're really going to come into play. Histories, unless I want to use them later, is the Endless Zone actually has something that I might want to look into anyway, because it's got an item in there, I think, that I want. I'm not entirely certain, I'll have to check on that. Histy's Rescue Plans, Super Experience Up, I will not be using that. However, the other two, Felis Insurance and Felis Express, I am going to use, mostly because it's quality of life little things for a certain side game in the game. Super Experience Up, maybe I'll use it when I'm grinding, but that will be off screen, but I doubt I'll be actually using it. We'll see. Beam Zapper 0, overpowered weapon, not using. Believer in Pippin set, overpowered weapon and equipment, not using. Netgear's Eye Mask, again, and the anime collaboration set, again, not using because overpowered. I don't want to be overpowered at the start. Maybe if I wasn't doing this as an LP, maybe, but no. Anyways, yeah, and these are ones I don't have, so I don't have the choice. So I'm going to go in with the bare bones and just go on and see how things go. Anyways, let's get started, shall we? Welcome to HyperDimension Neptunia Rebirth 2, Sisters Generation.
That's all? You! Take this! Ha! Damn you! Too slow! Prepare yourself! Be gone! How's this? Take this! Gotcha! Yeah! 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 There! Be gone! That's all? Neptune. No way. My sister. All 4 of the CPUs. We don't have a chance. Please stop this! At this rate, GameIndustri is doomed.
GameIndustri faces a dire crisis. Shops are boarded up, creators are overworked and starving, and death looms over all game industry men. But the CPUs refuse to let this be game over for their world. GameIndustri had severed its ties to the chaotic, lawless realm long ago. And yet, ever since the advent of ASIC, the R4 Syndicate of International Crime, morality has all but vanished. As much as 80% of all students are rumored to worship a being known as R4. Parents, despite knowing it to be a poor deity to worship, have gone ahead and allowed their children to do so. Even the governing bodies of the world have turned a blind eye to it, rather than crush the crisis in its infancy. Well, basically, GameIndustri was pretty messed up, you guys. Thus, did GameIndustri fall into complete and utter disarray. Those who tire of living in this corrupt world are sent to wander the GameIndustri graveyard, forever lost. Kinda like what IF and Compa are experiencing right now. Welcome to the GameIndustri graveyard.
We finally made it all the way to the GameIndustri graveyard. Yep. So it seems. I don't get why you're so scared. But look at the weird stuff all over the place. As its name implies, the GameIndustri graveyard is where those whose time has passed go to rest for eternity.
So, what are the CPUs doing here? Are they going to be resting for eternity? Definitely seemed like it after that little battle. They didn't really seem to have much chance against whoever that was. Also, one thing to note, yes, I know it's R4 now. I'm still going to call it R4 because I actually feel that's a better name. Just for the heck of it. And to keep up appearances. Anyways, yeah. The Game Industry Graveyard. What are the CPUs doing here? And what were they fighting?
All things you see here were once inhabitants of Game Industry proper. Oh, really?
You know, this is why I said it'd be okay if you stayed behind.
No way! I'd never agree to that. I want to help Nep and Gigi, and the other CPUs as well.
And so do I. Hard to believe they've been missing for 3 whole years now.
3 years. Yeah, about that number 3. You'll be hearing it a lot.
It's so stupid of them to make me worry like this.
All will be made right soon. I am certain they are alive. Even if they are seriously injured, as long as you possess the Sherasite I had prepared for you.
Sherasite, the crystallized power of the people's faith. If that's true, then you're right. Okay, let's hurry up and find our ladies, Compa. We'll carry them all home if we have to.
Okie dokie.
Jeez, this search is taking forever.
Uh-huh. Where do you think everyone could be? Yikes!
Hey, come on! What's with the sudden shouting?
A voice! I heard a moaning voice!
You did? Where? What direction did it come from?
I think it was that way.
Nice. Let's get moving.
Wait a minute! Please don't leave me here alone!
There! It's Nep! Iffy? Compa?
Looking a bit worse for wear. But then again, we did see her defeated and it was 3 years ago. Also, can I please sort of invest in whatever skin products you have, because your skin is amazing, and at this moment in time, despite the years gone by, and well, the rest of your outfit, not so much.
Gigi is here too! And look! The other CPUs! How awful. Who would restrain them like this?
They must have all the same skin and care. They must buy their skincare products from the same place. They're looking fairly good on that front. Again, they're probably not able to tell me. They seem a bit tied up right now, though.
Nep! Snap out of it, would ya? It's no good. She's still out cold. Man, what's up with these stupid tentacle things?
Do not attempt to force them free by hand. Compa, please utilize the Sherasite. Right. It's somewhere here in my handy-dandy nurse's pouch.
I won't allow it!
So, we're going to do it anyway. Wait, who are you?
Who are you? You better not get in our way.
For someone to be insane enough to travel here? Inconceivable!
CFW Judge. Yeah, he's a fairly big dude.
3 long years. I've remained idle for too damn long. It's finally time to destroy!
I don't get his problem, but we've got a fight on our hands. I'll handle him. So go save the CPUs, Compa.
You betcha!
Good luck, IF.
Please, please wake up!
Well, one's awake.
Gigi! Are you back with us? Compa? I'm so happy you're alive! Let me get the other CPUs up too. Ah!
Weak! So pathetically weak! Come on! Make the fight more interesting for me! Come on!
IF? Here? Well, now I feel stupid that you get to see me in such a sorry state. Be careful. This creep is freakishly strong.
Let me help out too. We have to buy some time so everyone can wake up and regain their strength.
I'll fight too.
So, fighting. And we get an introduction to the EXE drive. We didn't get this until, what, a fair amount of time in to the first game. This time we're getting the tutorial up straight up before any actual fighting inputs. In any tutorial on fighting inputs. Wonder why that is. But yeah, you use up your EXE drive gauge for big attacks, for big damage. Made use of it a lot in the last game. I'm hoping that I can do the same again this time. May not know many EXE drive skills at first, but you'll be able to learn many fascinating moves in the future.
You won't lose, no matter how strong they are.
So Nepgear, you versus this guy, the CFW judge. We have one thing that we can do. We can't do anything else except use the EXE drive. Yeah, Celestial Severance. We're going to use it, but don't expect to see any more for a very long time. Well, for a fairly long time.
TDL Overdrive. I'll use all I have with this.
Have you? Damn it! Damn it! Damn it!
Yeah.
Have you?
And as you might guess, with the zeros, yeah, we can't win that fight.
Really? Is that seriously all the strength you possess?
At the moment, yes.
We're not affecting him at all. Compa, aren't Nep and the others coming too yet?
I don't think they're gonna be waking up anytime soon.
Perhaps the Sherasite was not pure enough to awaken the CPUs proper. Only... You serious? Then there's nothing else we can do here. Again. I'm going to lose again. No.
This was just a waste of my time. I'll finish you all off right now.
No! I'm completely powerless. Wait, if I use what's left of the Sherasite's power, please be enough. Come on!
What? Oh, the light! My eyes! My eyes! My eyes!
Aren't you technically mechanical. How is that affecting you? Actually, shares are very versatile, aren't they? Yeah, we'll go with that.
It worked? Nice thinking, Gear.
Was it enough?
Now's not the time.
Gigi! This is no time to pass out again!
Yeah, no time for sleeping. We need to pick up the CPUs and get out of here.
What? What happened? Did she seriously lose consciousness now of all times?
Unforgivable! You'll never escape! Once my retinal systems come back online, I'll kill you all!
The time has come to withdraw. Nothing more can be done now. You heard her, Compa. Let's hurry up and get Gear out of this place.
Just Gear. Just Nepgear. What about the other four?
Yeah!
Seems we managed to lose him.
Gigi is way heavier than she looks.
Even after all that, the only one we could help was Gear. Not to mention...
The Sherasite's power was expended, and it shattered when Gigi had it unleash that light. There's no way we can help the CPUs without that.
There is no reason to be so hard on yourselves. Saving Nepgear is a very critical accomplishment. Then what's next, Histoire? Return to Planetoon. We shall have Nepgear rest until she has recovered her strength. Besides, I must learn what transpired 3 years ago, even if the memories are painful for her to recall.
Chapter 1. Divine Oratorial.
Good morning.
Good morning, Nepgear. I hope you're feeling a bit more refreshed than we saw you a few moments ago.
You're finally awake!
What a relief. You were asleep for so long that we were all getting really worried.
How do you feel?
I think I'm fine now. But, so... I'm really sorry.
If anyone should apologize, it should be me. It was my command that sent you 5 to that battlefield.
Huh? No! I would never blame you. It all went south because I wasn't strong enough.
It may be sudden, but I must ask you to recount what occurred 3 years ago at the GameIndustri graveyard.
Of course.
That's insane! All of you lost against a single opponent?
That's so hard to believe. How could the CPUs lose?
From what we saw there? Fairly easily, actually. That person, that Reaper, I suppose we could call her, definitely had a power advantage.
Can I ask a question now? What happened to GameIndustri after we lost that battle? You said it's been 3 years, so...
The situation is bleak, I am afraid. ASIC, under the assumed command of R4, controls much of the world. Disk burning, disk copying, even kids now see piracy as normal and have put their faith in it.
In other words, everyone believes in ASIC, so the faith that powers the CPUs has grown very weak. Making just that one small Sherasite crystal took us nearly all 3 years.
Well, with the CPUs absent from their nations, it's no surprise. We failed to save them. And we have come to learn that ASIC's goal is to revive the deity of sin.
Okay. What's that?
At the rate our world is declining, they may achieve that goal.
Something for later. Gotcha.
But isn't there anything we can do to stop them?
Yes, one way yet exists.
Go on.
And that way is you, Nepgear. Along with the other CPU's younger sisters, your fellow CPU candidates.
Hence, sisters generation. We aren't going with the CPUs, they're completely out of action at this moment in time. Nepgear is the main of this game.
Wait, me? And I'm not the only CPU candidate?
Correct. As you know, only the CPUs themselves and the CPU candidates are able to gather shares. If enough shares are recovered, ASIC and those affiliated with it should weaken.
They want me to collect shares in my sister's stead? I want to help Neptune. I want to help the world. But
Here's the thing about Nepgear. Neptune is very outgoing, she's got a bubbly personality, she's really, really likable just because she's Neptune. It's hard not to. Nepgear, on the other hand, is more self-reflective, more unsure of herself. She's got her own following, for that way, but she's sort of always in the shadow of Neptune. And she knows it. And that brings us to this, her insecurities.
there's no way I can beat such a strong opponent. I don't have a chance.
Isn't that approach too slow? ASIC might be able to gather shares faster than we can reclaim them.
Good point. And even the people who believed in the CPUs probably know they've lost by now.
In that case, we could request assistance from the mascots that reside in each nation. Like game mascots? Born from the ancient goddesses, they oversee the balance and order of our world in a passive manner. That is to say, they preside over the nations to ensure prosperity and remain neutral to all else. But when needed, they will stand by the CPUs and rid the world of evil's influence.
Sounds good. Where do we find this mascot?
I had no idea they even existed.
Indeed. Not even I am aware of their precise locations.
Fetch quest. Gotcha.
I have been researching where the mascot for Planetoon resides, but to no avail. I will inform you all once I find something of note. In the meantime, please regain Planetoon's shares. This will also serve to rehabilitate Nepgear's combat ability. Makes sense. I mean, Gear didn't even move much in the past 3 years, let alone fight. Hey, you listening, Gear?
Huh? Oh, yes.
Very well. Then allow me to give you this.
What is it?
This is the N-Gear. It is a portable device with a multitude of functions. It should prove invaluable to you.
The end gear. Yeah. Basically called it the menu. Lily system. Partner up. Same as before. You have your front row and back row. The person in front and the person in back are linked together by their Lily rank. The higher the Lily rank, the more skills and attributes are given to them. Lily rank in this game actually has a very, very big purpose in terms of the story, so we do want to rank it up. And as before, if we're going to raise shares, the guild is the place to be. Taking on quests, going in and doing them, will be able to increase the shares of Planetoon. So defeat the doggoos that are overpopulating Virtua Forest. Virtua Forest was the first area in the first game. Let's reprise that, shall we? And doggoos are the most basic of enemies, basically the slimes of this game. So they definitely seem like a good enemy to start off with for Nepgear. Combo setup. Again, we're going to see a lot of similarities between this game and the last game in terms of combat. Rush attacks, power attacks, break attacks. Rush attacks build up the EXE gauge quicker. Power attacks do more damage. Break attacks destroy the break bar more easily. But again, it's just sort of rock, paper, scissors, so the break doesn't do much in the way of EXE gauge, the rush doesn't do as much in the way of attacks, and the power doesn't do much in the way of breaking the break bar. So use them as appropriate. This is the start of the game. I'm going to set things up a little bit. Rush attacks are the last thing on my mind at this moment in time, because we have no EXE gauge. As I said, that EXE gauge that we saw just a little bit ago, that's the last one we're going to be seeing for a fair while. City controls, same as before. You go into a city, there's a shop and a few other things. Shop, the guild, and the museum, I believe, are our options at the moment, or is it just guild, information and museum? We'll have a look in just a moment, but those places we'll be seeing. And the world map. Planetoon, Virtua Forest, we have chirpers as before, and as you can see, this is a different world. I said before, we are not in the same world as before. Planetoon is sort of in, if we go with Planetoon as the base,
so many places.
and you're going to hear a lot of that.
Where are we going?
Loey's probably about in the same place, and same with Last Station, but if we go with Leanbox, it's down here, where before it used to be somewhere up here on the moon, on the last world map of the first game. So yeah, this is a completely different world, and we're going to explore it a little bit. And in the centre is the GameIndustri graveyard. We can't go back there, and we probably won't be going back there for a very long time. Anyways, next time we're going to search out Planetoon, we're going to go to the Virtual Forest and check our chirpers out. We've got a whole lot of information to pick up and a few items as well. So until then, have a wonderful day, have lots of fun.
Where are we going?
Goodbye.